1 year in Bali changed me a lot. And it changed me because I have...
What's your favourite thing about working in Bali and why did you move here?
I have a question for you. Do you love yourself?
New location. We're about to take 3 client calls today. My calendar's been completely booked up. One now, which is at 4 p.m. Jet lag's killed me today. We're starting the day very, very late. I need to try and wake up really early and just eliminate that jet lag. So we've got a call in 2 minutes, we've got a call in an hour, and then we've got a call at midnight tonight. So I don't know if I will be able to wake up early tomorrow. Oh. Right, looks like they've rescheduled to tomorrow. Fuck's sake. That's the second time. So in the meantime, I'm going to answer some of your questions. Now, I put on my Instagram the other day, ask me any question you like, I'm going to answer every single one of them. And I'm pretty certain I've seen a monkey. I'm not sure if it's a squirrel or a monkey, but it looks like a squirrel that's jumping tree to tree like a monkey. So I'm assuming it's a monkey, but I didn't know there'd be monkeys this close, to be honest. First question, how long am I planning to travel? I've got no end date. Now, I've set out at least 6 months, but to be honest, I really don't know whether it's going to be 6 months or if it's going to be longer. I'm staying in Bali for a bit. I don't know how long I'm going to stay in Bali for either, but the plan is to go to different places across South Asia, try and go to Australia as well, maybe a couple of times, and then also go to Thailand in winter, which will be really fun. How long have you been a brand designer? So a quick story, background on me. I didn't know there was any money in design, so I was actually an accountant who loved designing and had always been designing. Now, I've been designing ever since I was about 13, I believe, and I'd create these football edits and actually got picked up by a football news page which wanted me to do the edits, and that was my first bit of business as a 14-year-old, and I used to use my mum's PayPal for that. And then at 17, I started to create my own raves, did all the flyers and all the artworks, which naturally led to me getting a clientele within that industry. And then I moved into branding because a client asked for a brand identity, and I had no idea what a brand identity actually consisted of. So that's when I started to learn about branding, and ever since I've been completely obsessed. So that was 2 years ago, so I've actually only been branding for 2 years, but I've been designing for 7 years. Have you always been super confident? If not, how did you work on it? Yes, this is a funny one. I've not actually always been super confident, and I still wouldn't class myself as super confident now. Now, when I first started filming myself, I hated it. I hated the fact that there was a camera there. It felt so unnatural. I didn't know how to look at the camera. I didn't know how to speak to the camera as if it was a real person. I treated the camera like it was a camera and spoke to it in the weird way that we all do when we first pick up the camera. The only way that I've actually overcome them feelings when you're actually speaking to the camera is just from a simple lot of volume. I've done so many videos now, and I've only started implementing me into my videos about a year ago, but you'd be shocked at how quick you can actually progress in terms of confidence and speaking on camera. And in terms of confidence in general, I didn't have much confidence until I started club nights. And I think from the massive meeting new people and meeting big DJs and organising the nights and speaking to everybody there, I would never say I actually had social anxiety, but you know, the fears of speaking to somebody just got completely squashed when I did those nights. What has been the best part about growing a following? I'd honestly say that no matter what country I'm in, the fact that I can put something on my story and see who's there and then invite that person to go out on the day and just have a great time and see new places is probably the biggest advantage. When I went to Germany, I put out on my stories, anybody got any food recommendations? And then somebody replied, and then ended up spending the day with them, and we went sightseeing for the day. So I find that really cool and a massive advantage of having a following. Is niching down to a particular sector such as real estate a good move? I'd honestly say if you're getting a lot of real estate clients, then yeah, it probably is a good move, because then you can sell your services in a way like no one else. However, if you've got no experience in real estate, or you've only got very little and your clientele varies across different industries, then this might not be the right move. I always advise that if you're seeing a massive demand in a certain area, then it definitely would be a good move. And I saw a lot of demand in the influencer space. However, I'm still reconsidering whether that is actually the right move. Because in the past week and a half, I've had a ridiculous amount of inquiries from product-based businesses that have nothing to do with influencers. So then it's got me thinking, should I change that and go down to product-based rather than service-based? Rather than influencer-based. So these are the questions you've got to ask yourself, but I think if you're seeing the demand for it, then make the switch, but if not, probably stay doing what you're doing if it's working for you. What if I want to provide poster design service? Is that a viable option? Absolutely. I mean, if you're getting a lot of inquiries for posters or you just enjoy working on posters, then I definitely recommend it. 2 years ago when I was doing the club night promoting, I had that offer. I would just do rave flyers and that was it. And I absolutely loved it. I created some really cool pieces of work, very, very heavily based on the illustration side, so it was really fun. But I enjoyed it. It brought the money in. People were hungry for it as well, so you can be really successful within a sector like that. Have you ever had a problematic client not pay you / pay late? I've had a client pay late, but I've not had a client not pay at all. And I've simply just chased until they've paid and then threatened legal action. However, it can be really hard if you've not actually received the payment. I believe there's places that you can go which make it a lot easier to actually retain the payment, but I've not had to come across this problem yet. What is your timeline for establishing your design agency? Now, that's a really good question. At the minute, I've got it as 6 months to get it to a point where it's earning enough to bring in other designers. But I'm not going to stop there. The plan after that is to, when I move back to England eventually, specifically Manchester, I'd really like to open my own studio, make it as interactive as possible, have workshops, live Q&A sessions, even little coffee pop-ups where people can pop in on the lunch break and ask any questions they like, and have portfolio reviews. These are all things that I really want to do, and I want to build out a team in person whilst in Manchester and heavily build a lot of content ideas around it as well, make it interactive with the people that I hire. So that's the end goal. I'm hoping within a year I'll be able to get it to that point, but I'm hoping within 6 months I'll be able to get it into a credible point where I'm actually able to hire employees. Posts aren't reaching my ideal customers. Now I'm going to answer this question properly in the next couple of days because I'm going to be creating my first batch of content for Nonstop. So you'll see how I ideate ideas, how I actually execute on those ideas, and tips that I have as well that will actually get my posts in the right people's eyes. First, you need to really identify where is your audience hanging out. It could be Facebook, it might be Instagram, it might be LinkedIn, and go heavy on that, focus on that. Start to identify what are people engaging with on either of those platforms. I think people heavily underestimate the power of Facebook, including myself, but this is something that I would have been focusing on if I was doing B2B service-based businesses like I originally planned, but with doing the influencer side now, then I'm focusing more on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. So I'll answer that question properly in a couple of days. Do you think having a niche is important? I wouldn't say so. I think it's good if you would like to scale, but your niche could be quite a broad niche. For example, it could be product-based businesses, it could be service-based businesses, it could be fitness industry, there could be a really broad niche. And by having some sort of niche, I think it just makes it a lot easier to sell. And it also increases the perceived value of your services because people have that confidence that you're actually going to deliver on the results that you're promising. As somebody starting out doing freelance, what do you suggest as a roughly hourly rate? When I was first starting out, I did enough that it would be worth doing as a hobby. So my rate was £150 for a poster, but I would also drop that down to anywhere between £50 and £100. And this meant that I was getting enough extra cash in to be really motivated to do it, even if it was something that I wasn't completely interested in. And it would also start to build up my portfolio, and also, more importantly, the skills that you have with clients and the skills that you actually have on these softwares. Where did you learn branding? I'd say it was a mix of YouTube and Skillshare. Now, I didn't go to design school or anything like that, but there is so much information out there that if you are willing to put in 100 hours, you will learn the majority of what you need to know. How can I plan to travel the world whilst designing / working with clients? It's tough, it is tough, but if you are committed to doing it, you will be able to do it. It's like the way you've got to look at it is that you're not exactly on a huge holiday when you're traveling. You're simply just changing your location and changing your environment. It's like today I've not been out, I've not been to the beach, I've not done anything like that, but I'm working in a beautiful location, whereas normally I'd be working anyway, but it might be raining outside or it might be cold. So that's the way you've got to look at it. And then any free time you do have, you can start to squeeze in activities that you wouldn't normally do, which makes it a whole lot more fun. And it ultimately gives you more work-life balance, because depending on where you're from, in the UK it's really tough to have work-life balance, especially when you're running your own business because you're always working, and then in the times that you're free, the weather might be rubbish or there might be a lack of things to do. How do I get over self-doubt and thinking everything I create is bad? I'm not sure how to answer that. Is your work bad? If it's not bad, then stop thinking it's bad. I don't know. That's a tough one. What site do you recommend to start selling printed goods, e.g. t-shirts and mugs? I wouldn't know because I've never done it, and unfortunately, that's the end of the question. So, how are we doing? You okay?
Hello. How are you? International people.
The price for brand identities that I usually offer is £4,000. Does that work with yourself?
4,000. C'est 4 000. Mais je vais expliquer après.
I've never had that before. Only wanting to offer a share of the business rather than a fee. Essentially, the project's not going ahead because that's not something, especially with them being based in France. It's like it's an absolute nightmare that to try and tackle. I should have. Yeah, that's frustrating. Right, that's one to learn from. Definitely. I should probably put a note in my Calendly just to clear things up on that, because I think unless it's a UK-based business, that is just an absolute nightmare. And especially when you want to work with other people as well, it's just not going to happen because you can't take a percentage share of a business that you don't know is going to work.
Yeah. It was like 600, but it was definitely worth every penny. Worth every penny, yeah.
So you connect to here? Or is that
No,
separate?
no, that's separate. This
Sorry
is just.
if I'm ruining your video.
No, it's not. I've got a client call, but the guy's not turned up for the past 2, and he's rearranged both. So if he does it again, I'm just gonna.
Cancel.
Yeah,
Waste of time.
literally. Okay, so we're here, Canggu. Where actually are we? What's this place called?
This place?
Yeah.
Like this actual place that we're in?
Yeah. Camera shy.
Yeah.
He's gone.
I'm like,
No,
wait, are you
that
being
place over there.
serious?
That place. Are we in Zin?
Yeah, we're at Zin Cafe.
Zin, and it's really good for co-working. So today, we've got a few camera shy people here. What's your favourite thing about working in Bali, and why did you move here?
So why I moved to Bali? So I used to live in Thailand, and when I was in Southeast Asia, I love the culture there and how life is lived. Everything just slows down, there's no stress, people are so friendly. And then I went through this quarter-life crisis, and I was in Canada as a teacher, and I was like, I do not want to be here, and I don't align with that. So then I started doing research, and I actually knew nobody when I moved out here. All I saw was Q Surf Town. I wanted to start surfing, and I knew that it was good for digital nomad life. So then I started a business when I was at home. I did health coaching, and then I was like, Bali sounds like my vibe. And then I moved out in here, and it was the best decision I could have ever made. Oh my God. And then what I love about co-working, there's so many. Where do I begin? The people that I meet, like yourself, right? But these types of conversations that we had today, you have that with every single person that you meet. It's not closed-minded. It's very depthful conversations, meaningful. You learn so much. I was just telling Rita, actually, I'm like, being a human is so, it's actually beautiful how different everybody is. And I think the strengths and the expertise that people have, you just learn from everybody's strengths. And whatever your weakness is, it's just a skill that you can improve. And how do you learn? From networking from other people. So I love the conversations that are had. Obviously the environment, like you can't beat it. The coconuts, the cold coconuts. But I think the knowledge and the lifelong connections that you make with people.
Hi, my name is Rita. My name is Rita. I moved here 1 year ago. My friend Brittany, I met her 1 year ago as well. Why I moved here? I was in Spain for a graduation trip, and all of my friends went home, and I was like, I'm not going back to London because I lived in London for 5 years. And I booked my flight to Bali 3 days before coming here. It was random, honestly. And I came here for a month, and it's been 1 year. That's the whole story, honestly. But I guess the reason why I'm here, it's people like Brittany. She's my friend, but also like someone that I can share my vision, my purpose, but also business advice. Like we always help each other.
But you were supposed to leave, I think after 3 months, right?
Yeah, so I kept extending one more month.
They'll come to Bali for, let's say, a month on holiday. and then they're like, I have to go back home to my job, and then they stay here for a month. They're like, I'm not going back home. Or they'll go back home, and then everybody comes back. They always come back, right? Everybody comes back. So it's like, yeah, we'll see you soon. So it's never a goodbye. Never a goodbye. How has your first few days been here?
It's been really good. I've been jet lagged the past couple of days, so today's been the first day I've been out and about. But the people you meet, like you say, conversations you have, energy's high. Beautiful place, really good. Massively different from Dubai. Dubai I felt like really focused and like I could attack business well, but the social aspect, there was no balance. It was just constantly working all day. Here it seems like some adapting to get used to. Obviously when you change environments, you've really got to take a few days out to try and adapt, learn everything, find the shortcuts in the place that you're into. But yeah, it's been really good. I think it'll only get better and better and better the more people you meet.
Yeah.
Are we the first people that you meet here?
Yeah, I'm Matt. I'd never met Matt before, but Matt's gone now. I did meet Matt. I'll pop his Instagram up, but he's not here anymore.
He'll be on YouTube soon.
Yeah, he'll be on YouTube soon.
But I feel like too, when you're in Dubai and you're so business focused, yeah, I think that's good, but I also think you're missing out on why life's important. Like human connection is such a massive piece to feeling fulfilled and purposeful and whole. And when you don't have that, when you're just in the grind of work, I think you forget why you do it sometimes. Because at the end of the day, when you have all the money in the world, like what are you going to want? You're going to want to share that with somebody. You're going to want your people to celebrate with. And if you don't have those people because you've been grinding and grinding, like, you're alone,
Well said.
right? Nobody wants to be alone. Everybody wants to be loved. So I think here, that's why it's so wholesome. And me and Rita, yeah, we've gone closer and closer because we're just growing
Oh my God.
a lot. But we're just like growing together, right? And it's like meeting somebody like 22. No, I was drunk on the fucking bar at a club. Like there's no way I was doing.
I've been there.
Oh my God, it's wild. But hearing your story right away, I'm inspired, she's inspired, he's inspired. Now we all want to do it because you just shared what you do and what you're good at.
Cool.
And it's just,
Yeah, that was really good. You smashed that. Natural speakers.
She's really good.
Yeah, really, really good.
I just love these.
I have to feature him more. Can be a bit, I don't know. I struggle to speak sometimes. You have a podcast? No way.
Just started not too long ago.
What's your podcast? Give it a shout out.
It's called The Quarter Life. So it's about exactly what we're talking about, like how to live a fulfilled life when you're in your 20s.
Yeah.
So I think you're trying to navigate so much. You're trying to figure out who you are. I think not a lot of people know, and that comes with its own set of challenges, because then if you don't know yourself, how do you value yourself? How do you love yourself? Then how do you show up authentically when you meet people? Like you
Yeah,
have
of
a
course,
mask
yeah.
on all the time.
Yeah,
You
makes
don't. You're
sense.
not presenting. And me and you have this conversation.
1 year in Bali changed me a lot. And it changed me because I have friends that are very mature, that have different goals, business goals that I think I can align with. While back in UK, it was mostly like finding a job, getting a promotion, and it's something that I was not really into it. But here, hearing your story, developing my story, and trying to like love myself and develop this self-worth, it's really building into my business, and I'm really happy about it. I'm really happy to have you and meet you as well.
That's so nice. I have a question for you.
Okay, cool.
Do you love yourself? Like, do you have high self-worth, not self-confidence? Do you have high self-worth where you value who you are as a person?
That's a tough question. I've never been asked.
Because confidence, it's based on external achievements, and you've achieved so much for being 22. Like, that's something to be so proud of. But when we're only focused on achieving or that outer success, sometimes you can lose who you are in the process or miss that connection to yourself. And I think this is where Bali is really cool, because it's like it ties in, even if you're not a spiritual person, and spirituality and religion are not the same thing, so I'm not talking about like going to church or anything like that, but spirituality is like the meaning of life and like feeling purposeful and living with a purpose, right?
Yeah.
So when you feel connected to that, like that's when you feel whole. But I think, yeah, when you are so focused on chasing things, yeah, you just lose your inherent value. And the best way to see that is in relationships, like romantic relationships.
Do you share that on YouTube?
Learning.
Well, Jack.
Yeah.
But this is Bali, right? These are the types of look at. We just
yeah.
started as a daily vlog, and then we're talking about the meaning of life.
Mini podcast.
Why did you decide to travel, Jack?
Pretty contradicting to what you were saying. I am chasing that next high and that next big thing. So I've come here to like really try and accelerate that chasing, because I don't know, I work in a weird way where I've not really had any time to reflect on the past. I'm just constantly, what's the next goal, trying to achieve it, what's the next goal, setting income goals, what's that goal? And yeah, I don't know, the problem with that is that there's no end. It's just constantly up and up and up.
And then how do you feel when you achieve that goal? Are you just immediately setting the next one? Like, can you stop to actually appreciate it?
No, definitely not. Just keep going.
This is why I teach self-worth. Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, I just keep going. What's the next goal? And then if I don't achieve that and it's lower than the month before, it's like, shit. And then I'm so frustrated.
Do you celebrate it?
When I was at home, we did, yeah.
But do you, and then if you don't achieve the goal, do you not feel good enough? Like, is there something, or what comes up for you when you don't achieve the goal?
To be honest, I don't really put time frames on it. It's more a case of I set out a goal and then until I hit it, and I just go full volume, full impact until I hit that goal. And that's worked for me over the past few years. I've achieved the goals that I've wanted to. There's been times where I haven't, and then you think it's all wrong, and then within a few months, everything turns out to be fine again. So I think after you've done that twice, you realise that everything's going to be okay as long as you put 300% in. You will get the goals that you want to achieve, but you just can't really be sure on what the time frame will be. And it's like, no matter what I set out to do, I can't plan too long, because as soon as I start, the plan just completely changes after like a few days, constantly just analysing what's working, what's not.
I know, I'm like podcaster, podcast brain coming out here.
I wasn't expecting you to get a few introductions.
It's amazing. It's amazing. The issue that I just worry about, and because you're 22, and that's why I think 20s, you have to learn yourself, right? Like, that's totally fine. Like, you want to chase that next thing from experience, but also from like super successful billionaires. Why are they depressed? Right? Like, they're constantly chasing that next thing. They have, they have all this money, and then it's like, I either lost myself in the process, or that money and chasing that high didn't give me the fulfillment like I thought. It might give me that temporary happiness, but I actually don't feel whole inside. So it's creating meaning. Whatever money you're making, like, find purpose, and here is such a good place to bring yourself back down to that. And I'm speaking actually from like recent experience, and it's crazy the synchronicities too. Like, the people that I've had conversations with, I've been in a pretty big, the last couple months, it's just been like a transition period, but feeling very low, like depressive like symptoms almost, and just kind of healing and internal health stuff anyways. And then even though I'm making good money, I still feel this way. And I've been meeting people that have no money in their account, like literally not a dollar to their name. They need one more client to be able to pay for their rent here. And they're in this state of gratitude. They are so fucking grateful for, I don't know if you can swear. I swear a lot, but yeah. But they are so grateful for every little thing. They show up, the biggest smiles, like, they're like, I have this inherent knowing, like, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be cared for. I know I'm meant to be here. And I think when you have that sense, it's like when you can literally have everything removed from your life, stripped away, how do you feel at the end of the day? If you lost your business, if you lost all your money, how do you feel with yourself?
I was speechless. I got nothing to say.
How do you, so for instance, let's say you have a client, a very annoying client or something in business that is not working. How do you deal with it?
So I've been really lucky over the past few years. I've got like a really good, solid set of mates, and I lived with my best mate for like 12 months, but then also my other best mate was like a minute away. So we would just, any problem, even before it's become a problem, it's initially brainstormed, it's straight away, it's run through, it's been solved before it's even happened. And that is like really powerful. And that is sad that coming away, you'll miss that. However, they are only a call away, and that connection is still strong. But that has ultimately been what has driven a lot of the success. It's having that really core, solid group of friends to just bounce ideas back and forth. Similar, like-minded as well, boosting each other in different ways. It's like one of my best mates is trying to become a DJ. He's doing that really successfully. That's why I started the events a few years ago. And then the other one, we've been very like business-minded, back and forth with each other. And he's been inspired from my journey and just started his own business and is doing really successful in that. So it's like, it's always really good energy, back and forth. Really motivated. I think when you've got genuine mates that are genuinely looking out for each other and genuinely want them to do even better than yourself, that's a really strong thing. But I think it's really hard to find, because you can want somebody to do well, but then when they do better than you find a lot of the time that causes a lot of problems. But in this case, when you've got like true mates, that's not a problem, because even if they did do better, everyone's better off all around. It's yeah.
Now you are alone. Your mate is back in England. What's your solution now?
Me and you, Rita. We're here.
Yeah, well, I think coming out here, what I wanted to do was accelerate my network and accelerate trying to get to that next step by learning things a lot quicker than I would learn it on my own. But yeah, like you say, in terms of trying to resolve problems as they come, and I've still got to figure out. I think when the first problem comes, I'll find out. How are we?
Encore une fois. Encore une fois.
I've spent the day today just cleaning up the brand identity that we're doing for the golf brand. We're nearly there, we're still not quite there, but I need to do the colour palette and also present it to the client in a way that's actually presentable, because at the moment it's just like a messy mood board. Quick interlude, we're cooking Wagyu beef steaks today. I think they're ribeyes. Whoa. Right, I reckon we give it like 6 minutes either side. Oh, that is perfect. Quick update, this is what we've sent over to Connor. We've got his logo on the front, we've got a colour palette that I've selected, we've got 2 logo variations of different colours, and then we've got logo in different colours again, and the 3 logos that I've created.